Hi, thank you for listening to Listed by Mina Kuper. We're on KHTS Radio, 98.1 FM, 1220 AM. We're about real estate, trust, probate, divorce, and more. And I am so excited to have amazing guests on my show. My show is geared towards helping people with information because, of course, now and more than ever, things are changing rapidly. And we want to give people information on how to guide their life and if they're in certain situations, who they can turn to for the proper advice. I am a certified trust and probate realtor in handling divorces as well, any dissolutions of relationships. And I deal with people getting married, getting together, right, both ends. First-time home buyers. I deal with multi-units, apartment buildings, single-family homes. I have some great perks for my clients. We have junk removal. We have cleaning crews. Everything included in my in the deal for my clients. I include everything so that I help them make their experience very pleasant because it could be mortifying to move or to sell something. There's a lot of emotions, a lot of going through things, and I want to be there for everyone. And I handle the San Fernando Valley down to Orange County. I have a great team, and I'm really excited to have Richard Wang here from Viridian Mortgage. Richard is not only a mortgage broker, but he's an attorney as well. He crosses his T's and dots his I's, so he will get you very organized in trying to get a mortgage because, you know, a lot of times there are people in the business that will say they can do something and they don't know exactly what the nuts and bolts are of trying to get someone approved for a mortgage. And Richard does. He's a pioneer in the business. He is very detail-oriented. And Richard, I want to thank you for being on my show. You're always an amazing guest because you have all this information and you're perky and people have fun when they use you and you figure out a way to do it. Get them a mortgage, right?
Thank you, Mina. Good afternoon, and thanks for having me again. I almost kind of chuckled there. Nobody's ever really called me perky before, but I'll take it. I like the attention.
Well, I think you're perky. That's good.
Okay.
Tell people about your, your mortgage business and, the changing times and, also, what's available. What are some great new programs out there? Because people think that, oh, my God, what's going on? But there's always something new rolling out, right?
Yeah, for sure. Especially this year. It's been such a wild ride so far this year. And just look at the last 24 hours with a lot of questions coming in about the Fed increasing the federal funds rate, which is a short-term rate by another 75 basis points, which is actually a good thing for the mortgage markets because it was expected, and we really need to tame inflation, which isn't good for anybody unless you're a foreign investor. But it was actually a good thing, and it's just indicative of all the changes that we've seen this year. As far as new programs, they're still coming in really fast. We're looking at new programs almost on a weekly basis, and it really kind of depends on each area what we'd like to talk about. So, for example, like in Los Angeles County, I know the market's turning, but I mean, would you consider it a seller's market right now still, or has it like officially turned to the buyer side? What's your opinion on that?
I think for sure it's making the buyer's life much easier because people were bidding over asking price to a point where the appraisals weren't coming in and people were bringing cash just to get that 2% rate. And everybody was stressed out. Stressing even the sellers out, even though they were getting more money. But it was just stressful to deal with all this. But right now, I think things are back to normal, where buyers can buy a house, sellers can sell a house. Because even if the market adjusted a little bit, whatever the seller is going to buy, their market adjusted a little bit. So it's a domino effect.
Yeah, there's definitely more balance in the market than there has been in recent years, for sure. And I think some of our programs kind of reflect that. So for those that feel that they're still in the seller's market, we have programs that actually will front the cash up with at least 5% down payment to actually make a cash offer on your behalf with the stipulation that you
so tell us about
refinance.
that. Give us an example.
Sure. So like for as little as 5% down, and you have to go through pre-contract underwriting and to make sure that you can qualify for the back-end refinance. But the whole key is that if it's still a hot seller's market in your area, you can be super competitive by making an all-cash offer essentially and close in as little as 10 days. And then the agreement is that you have to refinance within 30 days after that. But since you've been vetted before, it shouldn't be a problem. And in those areas where, and I wish I had it like 3 years ago, right, where every community was a seller's market. And in those areas where it has turned more towards the buyer's side, we have things like seller credits, which can help buy down the rate in the first or second year. So it's nice to, especially for first-time home buyers, with the shock of a larger mortgage payment that they've never had to deal with before from a cash flow perspective, they can enjoy a rate like in the 3s still, and then just kind of ease their way into the fuller mortgage payment based on the note rate. So a lot of options to consider, and whether you're a buyer or a seller, we have investor programs too, programs where you can actually get second mortgages or lines of credit on investment properties up to as high as like 80% of the value. Amazing. Which can Amazing. Be, cash flow is paramount for investors, right? And they can definitely leverage those properties now. It's not really easy to find lenders who can do second loans on investment properties in this market.
I mean, that's just amazing because, when people know that you're going to qualify for a home and you give them the money, they'd much rather have that than wait for someone to go through a whole process and may not be approved for a mortgage and for a lot of escrow. Mm-hmm. And that is such an amazing program to have. I would use it. And the other thing is I give up to $6,000 back in non-recurring closing costs to my clients, which I do in escrow, as you know, Richard. Mm-hmm. And that's just me crediting them in escrow for anything non-reoccurring. So they will have potentially extra money to additional funds to buy down rates or things like that. They'll have the extra $6,000 that I give them through escrow as a credit for using me as their agent, and it'll help with your mortgage buy down, because you'll have the extra money, to do certain things.
Yeah, and the credit can come in different forms. So you can certainly just give a cash credit, so they bring less cash to the table. But like you said, it could also be used to buy down the rate, which you can enjoy over a particular length of the term of the mortgage in reduced cash flow.
Exactly. And I know, people have asked me too, what is the difference between a bank and a mortgage broker like yourself? Because there is a difference.
Yeah, there's definitely a big difference, and it's an important question because we do get asked that all the time. And I'm not going to give you an attorney's answer. It really depends. There are certain technical differences. Like, we're not a depository institution as an independent broker, but as a consumer, you should always be asking, like, who has control of the transaction, who's going to ultimately service the loan, meaning that who's going to keep it on their books, and then also what is like the range of options that the lender can provide for you. And I do know that it's pretty indisputable, and there's so much information out there online, and a lot of it is misplaced. So definitely make sure that you talk to a trusted professional. But it's pretty indisputable that brokers do have more options, and one of the most inherent aspect that I feel that has kept me as an independent broker throughout my entire career is that the broker truly represents the borrower more than any lender can. I mean, our sole responsibility is just to get the borrower the best deal possible, and just having the ability to make choices kind of beyond what any one particular lender can offer is a huge advantage to some of the borrowers. It's not a good fit every time. I mean, if you are a savvy homeowner and you've gotten mortgages in the past, you have a pretty straightforward loan, and it's super important to get the best pricing. Sometimes we're not the best fit, but if you're a first-time home buyer who might need a little bit more hand-holding and you need a little bit more attention, then a mortgage broker might be the better option.
Yeah, and I think that because you can shop different products, sometimes banks just have one product, and that's what they're good for. And then you don't know because you have nothing to compare it to there, right? So then you have to go looking at someone. You don't have people keep on pulling your credit, So if you go to you can study it and look at different angles and go to different products. You go to one bank and have that one thing, and then you don't know what else is. Then you're going to go to someone else, and they're going to pull your credit, and then that's not good to keep on doing that over and over again.
You definitely have to be more creative and I think outside of the box as a broker. As an example, and definitely the bank structure is based on efficiency, and there's a lot more structure that you have to follow if you are a loan originator within a bank. But as an example, the application process can be totally different. Like if you apply with a bank, they may just tell you that your credit score is too low, whereas a broker kind of goes the extra mile and explains why the credit score is low and how credit scoring works. And we may even make recommendations about like paying off credit cards or student loans, how to increase your borrowing power and make you more eligible in the future.
Right. And a lot of times when people do mortgages at a bank, they just, some of the larger banks just put someone there that's not really knowledgeable. And they're filling out paperwork, and then in the 10th hour, they find out, well, they can't do it, or they found something out, because they didn't know, experience is a huge teacher, right? And if you have had experience like yourself, because I know my clients have been extraordinarily happy with your services, and it was just so nice because, they go one place and the person doesn't really know what they're talking about as much as you do, and then they're pulled their credit, they're filling things out, they've jumped through hoops, and then they still are nowhere, and that's not a good
totally.
thing, right?
Our whole model is based on 100% customer satisfaction. If our customers aren't satisfied, then our business just simply won't grow and it won't even exist. And it's important to note that even though there's like more, we may be cheaper, easier, and faster. We also are cheaper because we operate at the wholesale level. So our lenders don't have like big marketing budgets. They don't have commercials where they're spending time apologizing for their actions. It's the structure is inherently cheaper because they don't have those major expenses on the marketing and sales side. They use brokers as their sales tool. Exactly.
And that's the huge difference. And I always tell people, they're like, should I buy, should I rent? I said rent. The California is so expensive. Just buy it.
Any which way you look at it.
Because you get the write-off on the interest of the mortgage up to a certain amount. Mm-hmm. You get so many benefits and you build equity because historically the California market, people have made money.
Sure. In my opinion, it's as close to a sure thing as possible if looking at it from a long-term perspective on investment.
Yeah, you can rent it, you can sell it, it's a tangible item, you can will it, you can do whatever you want with it. But if you rent something and you got to go because they tell you to, then you got to go. And then you have nothing to show for it because California, just apartments themselves are as much as a mortgage, potentially. Right?
Yeah, really. Yeah.
You get a house for, or a condo for a few $100,000, you have to go crazy as a starter place, if you, needs to do that. But yeah, there's nothing like, if you talk to all, the people that are in the elder years, seniors, a lot of people have been living off their rental income because they started somewhere. If they would have been just renting, they would never gotten there because Social Security doesn't really cut the mustard to be affordable, living in anywhere in a big city. So it's hard.
It's hard to beat the advantages of capital appreciation and future cash flow. That's why
the tax write-off.
tax advantages. That's why you look at the wealthiest households in America; they all own real estate.
Yes. Except Elon Musk. He said he's just sleeping on people's couches, right? I think he just wants attention.
We'll save that for another conversation.
Yeah, right. I think it's just attention. I'm sure their couches are a lot nicer than most people's homes, right? That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. But I know, so you can lend up to how much, the portfolios. I know people, they buy houses in Malibu. It can be 5, 10, 20 million, 30 million. Is there a parameter of what you have access to?
It depends on the lenders we work with. Typically, we top out at $3 million, and it depends. So there's two general types of loans. One is an agency loan these adhere to the guidelines of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and those, depending on the county in the most affluent areas, go up to $970,800. And then beyond that would be considered what are called jumbo loans, which go to more private investors who may actually sell it to other investors and servicers who will handle the loan for the remainder of the term. But as far as loan amounts, we can definitely go up to $3 million, but it depends on the lender whether we can go beyond that. That's sort of our sweet spot.
Nice, yeah, and I think that. If people have other needs, I know other lenders that can assist them, and the people that if they need to get into a higher price situation, you collaborate with other professionals.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like in challenging markets where, the interest rates have been rising, so borrowers have seen their purchasing power go down. You have to get creative, and lenders understand that. That's why they're coming up with more unique types of programs. But brokers have choice, and we have multiple options and to review and to select from, given any kind of scenario. And it's it's fun and challenging at the same time. But I'm going to stick to fun.
Rubik's cubes, right? People even buying, first-time home buyer, a young couple buying first home, even if they get into a 10-year fixed program with the lowest interest rate, typically they will upsize or something. And, it's also not a bad, so many things out there, So there's so many ways to do it. Even people think, oh, my God, the interest rates went up a little bit. I can't afford a house. I think you should call Richard and see if that's true. Because people will tell you all kinds of things. So they'll ask their friends, their neighbors. But they really should call you.
Everybody's an expert. Right.
Everybody's an expert. Right. They're like, people are like, oh, someone told me you have to put 20% down now. I'm like, who told you that? They're like, this lady across the street, her son used to be in the mortgage business 10 years ago.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, my God. I said, just call someone. Here's a number. Call this person. It's not true. Things change all the time. You need to really know what's going on now. Do not listen to someone that sells shoes to tell you what the mortgage business is like and where you can buy a house or not. If you want to buy shoes, you go to them. Oh, my goodness. So,
especially the last 2 years, right? Because of COVID, it's just like we're seeing people with.
It's crazy. So what's a good way to people to get in touch with you?
The best way is just directly on my cell phone, which I welcome all texts and calls. It's 408-828-5609.
So if I can't sleep at night and I'm thinking about getting a mortgage because I want to buy another property, I can call you that one.
I'm not promising that I'll pick up, but again, I will welcome all phone calls.
I'm kidding, guys. Whoever's listening to this, I'm really kidding. Do not call Richard at 1 a.m. It's not politically correct to do that. There's a cutoff.
Pacific Standard Time.
That's right, Pacific Standard Time. Again, please let everyone know your phone number.
408-828-5609.
And great, thank you. And also on our Facebook, KHTS Facebook page, we will be on there all the time. So if you want to go watch this or listen to this tonight, you can. We're permanently there. Or KHTS radio app. You can download the app and listen to our shows there Richard, thank you so, so much. I love talking to you because it's really exciting, and I have to correct people and then give them your number when they tell me those things, and I have you to do that with. Thank you.
My pleasure, Mina. Thanks for having me again.
Have a good weekend.
You too.
Bye-bye. You're listening to Listed by Mina Kuper. We're about real estate, trust, probate, divorce, and more. KHTS Radio, 98.1 FM, 1220 AM. I'm a certified trust and probate and divorce realtor. I do also work with people that are first-time home buyers and getting married. So either dissolving or getting married or downsizing or upsizing. I'm there. I'm licensed in California and in Arizona. And I have an amazing guest today. Her name is Dina Braverman, and she's from Organizing Concepts and Designs, a.k.a. OCD. Dina is really great, and she helps people clear out. And so, Dina, I want to let everyone know why people call you besides they're moving and they don't want to deal with it. There are other reasons. So tell everybody about you.
So, hi, and thank you so much for having me on your show today, Mina. People call organizers for all kinds of reasons, but for me, for my company, mostly people are calling because they want to downsize for an upcoming move, but at the same time want to get value for the items that they no longer want or need. So they don't want to move all of the stuff with them, and they want to get value. They want to sell it. So they turn to me to see if perhaps I can help them with selling their possessions.
And you do work with offices as well, right?
We do. My previous life, I was paralegal and legal assistant. So much of my experience in the corporate arena was in the legal industry. And as such, we transitioned into offices and we helped people with their paperwork, implementing filing systems and helping people figure out really what to keep, what to shred, what to archive, how long they need to keep things. And frequently we work with estate planning attorneys, probate attorneys, divorce attorneys, and also real estate agents because inevitably people are inundated with years and years of paperwork that they don't know what to do with. So I help them figure out what to do with it, and I facilitate the process.
And it's such a big help, especially today, after COVID. A lot of people are downsizing to home offices or virtual offices because they've learned how to function in a virtual world. And so that, how do you take all that stuff? Because a lot of what we do is still paper, heavily paper, wet ink papers that you need to keep. And, you can scan them, but at the end of the day, you need to keep things that are wet ink and stored away for any type of situation that may arise for certain years. And,
right.
You don't want to just take this and you have this whole office you've been in for potentially 5, 10, 15 years, and you look at all these boxes, and you're like, oh, goodness, I don't want to put this in my house, and I have a virtual office now, and I don't want to put this in my garage, and I don't know how to do this, and probably half of it I don't need anymore. So, what do you do with all those boxes and papers and stuff? Someone who's just, going to be, going virtual or get a virtual space and doesn't need that big office anymore with all these files and things going on.
So, look, it's all different. It depends on why they're calling me in. So, if an accountant calls me in, it might be because their clients haven't filed taxes or they're late in filing their taxes and their clients are just overwhelmed with the paperwork. So they call me in to put together all of the documents that they need to file their tax returns. Sometimes a divorce attorney might call me in because a couple might have to sell their house, which is where you come in, right? And they got to get rid of the house, but there's a lot of paperwork, and the attorneys need to do what we call in the legal industry discovery. So we get in there and we get all the paperwork to give the attorneys so that they could proceed with the case. Sometimes it's getting all of the documents together for the cost basis to figure out the value of a home when they separate and they need to divide up the property. So there's all kinds of reasons why people will need certain kind of paperwork. But at the end of the day, because of my legal background, I know the IRS retention guidelines. I know how long somebody needs to keep something personally and how long they need to keep something professionally. So that in and of itself is helpful because it's overwhelming. So people just leave it. They don't touch it. They just store it and put it in filing cabinets and forget about it. But now they're downsizing and they're going from 3,000 square feet into 1,000 square feet, and they cannot take all of these boxes of paper. They can't take all of the filing cabinets. So they look to me so that I can whittle it down to something that's, doable, something that's, they can store in a small space.
Right. And what I'd like to offer people that are moving, selling, or using their realtor, your services as part of what I do.
Of course.
Help. Right. So you get Dina and her company to help you, and it's on me. She'll come in and, I'm here to make their experience, because it's frightening to move, but, it's easier when you're doing it for someone else, right? Because people are emotionally attached to things, whether they need it or not. It's like going to a jungle for someone, right? And if you have someone else do it, that whole experience and feelings and attachments are relieved because you don't have to do it, but you can be assisting someone assist you with it. And once it's done, you feel so cleansed. It's a form of meditation.
So, and then the other thing, Mina, is yes, we go in and we help them figure this all out and do it all for them in most cases because people just don't want to do it. But we do offer maintenance programs, so we do work with a lot of offices that will say, put a system into place, and then when, why don't you come once a month at the end of the month and do the filing, or, fix it, tweak it, whatever they need. So we do offer that as well. And that's priceless because it's the gift that keeps on giving. So once people have us in the house and they see what we do and they get it, really, they'll never stop, because organizing is a process. It's not something that you do once. It's something that you need to do all the time.
I agree, because it becomes messy. It's the maintenance that's hard, whether it's weight loss or being organized, because you're busy doing what you're doing, right? You're not sitting there, if you're working on a case or you have a real estate deal that has some issues because it's at a probate potentially or something, or something. I'm not sitting there worried about how organized I am, because I do have a transaction coordinator. But after that, you just you just want to rest, because it's so much. And for attorneys, they're up to their eyeballs in paper.
Absolutely. And as well, when we work with real estate agents, they bring us in mostly because their clients need to relocate. And in addition to the paperwork, which is obviously, voluminous in nature, there's so many other things. And people will often not want their family members to help because they feel a sense of pressure. They don't want to ask them to go out of their way. Sometimes people are too busy. So having somebody, a third party, an uninterested party in their possessions sometimes really helps.
Right, it's unbiased. You don't want people, you don't want people giving their opinions or, what they think.
Right, family it's an unbiased third party, exactly.
I mean, I've opened people's garages. I'm like, holy moly. I'm like, this is something.
Exactly.
God thinks there from their 40-year-old kid's birth,
Not only that, but, think their garages. Think about how hot it is right now.
Yes.
It's hard to do. It's physically exhausting. Making all those decisions is mentally exhausting. So trust me when I tell you that all the help, and not only the help, but the resources. Because think about, you have all of this paper. We've got to bring in shredders. You're organizing a garage. There's toxic waste. There's trash. There's donations.
Right.
We'll go in and we'll facilitate all of that. We'll get the donations done, the hauling done, the toxic waste removed, the shredding. We do it all. So it's one day, one painful day, and it's over.
I mean, that is amazing because some places are really bad, especially if they've been left vacant for a while. It's pretty gnarly in there. And even if it's not vacant, people may leave food particles when they were doing something in the middle. And I want to get into it, but even if you just have kids, if you just have kids, business, things are like always a mess. You have dogs. It's like everything. You need a whole staff.
Indeed.
It's always a process. And it's the same thing the next day. But if you keep it up and you maintain it, like do a deep cleansing every, couple of weeks or months, then it doesn't get as bad. It's
That's
not
right.
as,
it's not as overwhelming. It's not as daunting. Exactly.
Yeah. It gives me anxiety, I'm sure other, especially moms, working moms, and, they have a whole thing going on, and, the anxiety is there as it is, but, just looking at all that, and you're like, oh, I got to do this again,
That's right.
Now that I talk about it. A really nice room, a lot of fun. We're going to have some wine in that. I'm sure you've been asked that before. But that's true.
Yeah, when we're doing, especially a garage, and what I tell people is, and that they don't think about this, but imagine you're living in the house and you're storing all of this quote unquote stuff in the garage, and your $50,000 car is on the street.
Yeah, it's true.
You're protecting all this stuff that you have no use for, that you don't need, that you don't want. So you're just shoving it in the garage, and your beautiful car is on the street.
Right.
Being subjected to the elements, the heat. So, it doesn't make sense.
Human nature, right? Because, we're busy, right? We're busy. And if you're not busy, you don't want to be doing that. You want to go get your nails done, or you want to go get a massage. You don't want to do that.
Mina, you want to do anything other than that.
Right.
Anything. And that's why it doesn't get done. But again, if you're moving, it's got to get done. Sooner or later, it's got to get done.
Yeah. Yeah, no. It's so true. And people put it off. But once you start doing it, it's like a habit, right? Once you start really putting everything on a schedule, right? Every 2 months, I'm going to have a deep, cleanse of stuff and organization and come in for a few hours because it's not as expensive. If you leave it, then it gets out of hand. And
Absolutely.
It's pricing. Right. It doesn't really, satisfy, trying to save money because it just costs more money to do it that one time. If you just keep it up and you're feeling better, it'll be the same price, and you'll have it more frequently. And what's your areas of where you do this?
Well, I like to tell people that we do it from Palm Springs to Poland. So if somebody wants to pay our way, we will go wherever you want us to go. But we do have a presence, mostly in Southern California, anywhere from Palm Springs to, where Palmdale, wherever. Doesn't matter. We get in our cars, we do the job. Our specialty, once again, is, office organizing, residential organizing, relocations, and estate sales. So it's a comprehensive, full service, A to Z, and your clients don't have to use all of our services, but at least we offer them. So if they want a one-stop shop, they make one phone call, I take care of everything else.
Yeah, you get addicted to Dina. You do.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And I do know if anybody's relocating, I know agents in other states. I'm licensed in Arizona and New York, but I have some great contacts. I'm with Keller Williams, so I have some great agents that I've known and used in Texas and Tennessee and Washington and Florida that I could refer out, and they can even shadow them, make sure you're getting everything you need because I'm a micromanager or not, but I know they'll do the job as well as I would because take care of everything as much as I can, especially, we live in a fire zone, so things may be in your garage and smell like soot. There were a lot of fires these last few years, and
well, what's really interesting, Mina, which is something I really think that you just hit on, which is amazing.
Dina, I'm gonna have you come back. We have to break. So I'm gonna come back. Don't go anywhere. We're gonna take a break, a commercial break. I'm gonna have you finish up with me. Guys, come back and listen to what Dina has to say. Hi, welcome back. You're listening to Listed by Mina Kuper. We're about real estate, trust, probate, divorce, and more. And we are listening to 98.1 FM, 1220 AM. You can also watch us and hear us on the KHTS Hometown Station page on Facebook. As well, if you don't use Facebook, you can download the app, KHTS Radio, and listen to us every Thursday from 12 to 1. I have some amazing professionals on. And we're back with Dina Braverman from Organizing Concepts and Designs, because what she had to say is really important. Take it away, Dina.
So just before the break, Mina, you were talking about, having a lot of possessions. And living in California, obviously, we are prone to earthquakes. We're having a lot of fires. And the problem that I'm seeing more and more is that people with all of these possessions are having more difficulty proving their losses and also recovering from their loss. So really, really less is more. Yes, that's the organizer's motto anyway, but in this climate, in this world that we live in, this crazy world, less is more. So if you want to downsize and declutter and get value for the things that you no longer want or need or ever want.
Right, because you can get it sold or donated. So you don't just think it's going nowhere, because emotionally it's better for you to know it's going somewhere or you got some value from it and you can let go of it like that.
100%. And if not selling it, donating it to so many different causes right now. There are so many homeless in our city. There are so many people that need these resources, clothing, toiletries, whatever. So,
it's funny, I'll tell a quick story. I had my trash cans. I was, trash day, and this woman and her son, there was probably about 10 going through to look for bottles and things. And I saw them, and I ran out because I have clothing that's been sitting in a bag. I didn't know what to do with it. And I gave her the clothing, and I gave her some money. And she was so grateful, and I was fine giving it away because I knew it was going to someone who needed it. And the gratefulness in her eyes was so just touching. And her son had some disabilities. We were talking in my broken Spanglish, but it was just so amazing. I didn't have time to go get more stuff. And that's when I have, and I know it sounds funny, that's when I get going. When I see someone in need and I can give it to them right there and then, I'll just take everything out of my closet and give it to them. The things I don't even really need, I think I need it, but I don't. And then I'm okay with it. If I know it's going somewhere that is needed, it's the whole feeling, that emotional feeling like there's an empty hole goes away.
And I can't tell you how good it feels when you walk into your house and so much of the clutter is gone, because it's less to clean, it's less to deal with, it's less, it's just less. It's just a weight lifted off your shoulders.
Yeah, that's right. When I go to my Arizona home, because I'm licensed in Arizona also, and I go there and I don't have all my stuff in there. Do you know I sleep better at night? It's too noisy in my own house. I have too much of my stuff that I don't need. And I've been there for, long stretches of time during holidays. And I realized that half those things I didn't need, I could just be well done with what I had with me.
Exactly.
Which is interesting, but I still keep a lot of it. I gave away, but I still have some. I still have to I like that feeling. It was I just had what I needed. I don't have to go through all this stuff to go looking for things that you can't find because you have too much stuff, and then the other stuff that you don't need comes up. So, what's a great way for people to reach you, they can look on Facebook page. If they use Facebook, KHTS Hometown Station, you can chime in and talk to people on our Hometown Station, KHTS Hometown Station Facebook page and chat with people. And also they can download the app. And how can they reach you?
They can reach me, Dina Braverman. My phone number is 310-560-5060, or website organizingconceptsanddesigns.com, and email is Dina@organizingconceptsanddesigns, name spelled D-I-N-A.
And that's easy enough, and you can always go on the Facebook page, call me, 310-345-8500, for your real estate needs, for Dina's needs, for Richard's needs, for anyone else that needs something. And, I thank you so much for being on the show. I love talking to you always. I love what you do for our clients and being great at what you do and caring. And I wish you a great rest of the day. And come watch us next week and listen to us next week, Thursday, 12 to 1. Every Thursday, I have amazing professionals. Thanks for watching and listening.